Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
What is up everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be going through my team selection ahead of Game Week 21. In comparison to Game Week 20, Game Week 21 may be a bit of a quieter game week. Nevertheless, it is just as important when it comes to planning and preparing for the upcoming blank and double game weeks. I would recommend not making a transfer this week if you can avoid doing so. Having 2 transfers for Game Week 22 seems to be the most optimal move for most FPL managers. If you do find this video helpful, please do drop it a like, subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at fplfatherted. Also comment down below your transfer plans for Game Week 21 and without further ado, let's get into it. Before I get into my team selection for Game Week 21, I will briefly discuss how Game Week 20 has gone. Although the game week is currently not finished, I am sat on a red arrow down to 120k. With Kepa and White both returning while sat on my bench, and Haaland and Kane both blanking so far this week, it has been an unfortunate game week. However, I could still end up in a green arrow overall for Game Week 20 if Haaland manages to return against Spurs due to him being triple captained. Moving Cancelo to Botman was a move that paid off, so I'm glad I got that decision right. Starting off in nets, we have the return of Kepa after his amazing 10-point haul against Palace, which he achieved while sat on my bench. Chelsea face off against Liverpool at Anfield, whilst Ward's Leicester host Brighton. On paper, Ward has the easier fixture, however I'm starting Kepa based purely off current form, with Brighton looking a lot more dangerous than Liverpool have in recent fixtures. I would be surprised if the Liverpool and Chelsea game finished 0-0. Moving on to the back line, we line up with Trippier, White and Botman. Having brought me success in Game Week 20, we yet again line up with double Newcastle defence who travel to Selhurst Park for what I'm expecting to be another solid defensive performance. Whilst Newcastle only have a 29% chance of keeping a clean sheet against Palace, I still believe that it is worth starting both Trippier and Botman. Luke Shaw also makes way for Ben White, who scored 8 points in Game Week 20 whilst also sat on my bench. Arsenal face off against United and have a 33% chance of keeping a clean sheet compared to United's 16%. Arsenal assets have now reached the point of being fixture proof and will receive constant starts in my team. A conversation around the return of Reece James will also need to happen in the coming game weeks as the Chelsea right back has started to train on grass again. In the midfield for Game Week 21, we have Rashford, KDB, Martinelli and Almiron. Whilst my midfield looks good on paper, it is the main area I will seek to make changes to either this week or next. Rashford and Martinelli facing off against each other isn't ideal, however both players have been some of the top performers so far this season, so I'm hoping that they can both get returns in what is bound to be a game with lots of chances. Whilst he has been one of Newcastle's most impressive players this season, Almiron's time on my team is starting to run out as I look to bring in Odegaard and ensure I'm tripled up on Arsenal assets. Almiron has blanked in his last 3 games and will most likely be leaving my team in Game Week 22 if he doesn't get a return against Palace. Some news which did concern me was that KDB was not spotted in City's recent training photos. Whilst this will probably only affect City's second match in Game Week 20 against Spurs, if it is confirmed that he has picked up some kind of injury, then I may look to move him out in order to spread funds elsewhere. However, due to City's double Game Week 23, this is not something I would be wanting to do. Finishing off the team for Game Week 21, we have a front 3 of Kane, Haaland and Mitrovic. With Kane blanking against Arsenal, Haaland blanking against United and Mitrovic missing a penalty against Newcastle, it would be fair to say that I was let down by my attack in Game Week 20. Kane and Haaland could still redeem themselves however, as they still have to face off against each other in their second game of Game Week 20. Before the Game Week 20 deadline, I had considered taking out Mitrovic for a -4 in order to get Tony in. Had I done this move, I would have been an extra 5 points up on my current score. However, Tony's current situation means he is a ticking time bomb and could be banned by the FA at any moment. Due to this, I would avoid going for him. However, if you're happy to take the risk, then he could be a great pick as Brentford's next few fixtures look extremely appealing. As usual, Haaland will have the armband for his home fixture against Wolves. Whilst he hasn't been showing the same incredible form he did at the start of the season, he has a 69% chance of scoring against Wolves according to FPL Review. If you're wanting to go for someone else in Game Week 21, then I would recommend Harry Kane, who faces Fulham and has a 45% chance of scoring any time in that fixture. On the bench for Game Week 21, we have Danny Ward, Andreas, Luke Shaw and the injured Reece James. Not a lot needs to be said about my bench this week, as all the players on it either have a difficult fixture or are injured. As you can see on screen, this is how my team will line up for Game Week 21. My current plan for this week is to roll the transfer and ensure I have 2 free transfers for Game Week 22, where I will prioritise bringing in Martin Odegaard ahead of Arsenal's double Game Week 23. I'd recommend that managers who have the luxury to roll a transfer this week do so. Due to the upcoming possible blank and double game weeks, it is important to only make transfers if there's a clear upside or if you have some serious fires to put out. I feel comfortable with my team ahead of Game Week 21, so I'm happy to roll the transfer this week. If you are looking to make a transfer this week, then I would recommend you bring in an Arsenal asset. That's going to do it for this week's team selection video. If you did find the video helpful, then please do drop it a like, subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at fplfatherted. Thanks for watching and good luck this game week.
Symphony, won't you kiss me? Shut me shut me out.